Hi everyone, welcome to Plot Thrust, where two aspiring romance authors deep dive into a new romance novel every week.
I'm Tat.
And I'm Sam. And this is Plot Thrust.
And we are your hosts.
So this week we read The Governess Game by Tessa Dare, I believe.
Tessa Dare.
Damn, every time.
Her name sounds like so many names.
Though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Tessa Dare or Tessa Dare?
Ooh.
It is a pretty name, though.
Yeah, I like her name. Anyway, Tessa Dare. I will get it right one of these lifetimes. I deeply apologize. So I think we should address where we are right now in life and how we're recording in a library.
Yeah, so we're poor. None of us have space to record at home, so we're recording in a library. Every once in a while, if you hear people speaking, that's because they don't know they're in a library, and they're not quiet about it.
So we may have some people in our podcast that you don't want to meet, but they're here. So.
It's fine. I don't want to meet them either.
Yeah.
So the format that we have for this show, we're going to go ahead and read the back, or like what's written on the Amazon description for the novel. And then we're going to go ahead and discuss some things, right?
Yeah, that's what we were planning. We hope you all like it. It's going to be fun.
I don't care if you like it because No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the Amazon description has it listed as this: The Accidental Governess. After her livelihood slips through her fingers, Alexandra Mountbatten takes on an impossible post, transforming a pair of wild orphans into proper young ladies. However, the girls don't need discipline. They need a loving home. Try telling that to their guardian, Chase Raynaud, Duke's heir in the streets and devil in the sheets. I had no idea it said this. Okay. The ladies of London have tried and failed to make him settle down. Somehow, Alexandra must reach his heart without risking her own. The infamous rake. Like any self-respecting libertine, Chase lives by one rule: no attachments. When a stubborn little governess tries to reform him, he decides to give her an education in pleasure. That should prove he can't be tamed, but Alexandra is more than he bargained for. Clever, perceptive, passionate, she refuses to see him as a lost cause. Soon the walls around Chase's heart are crumbling, and he's in danger of falling hard. All right, you know what else is hard, right? So,
I mean,
this book had erections,
lots
and
of
opportune
erections.
moments. Yeah, it did.
What did you think of that background?
The back cover of the book?
Thank you. Synopsis.
The synopsi. What's the plural of synopsis?
Do you really think I know that, dude?
I don't fucking know either.
Recording a podcast in a library.
Too lazy to Google. But you know what? Best place to check. I'm sure there's an encyclopedia somewhere. No offense meant to Tessa Dare. I'm pretty sure she didn't even write the back cover of that book, but I did not like that breakdown. It made me not want to read it, and I'm glad I didn't read it until I was done reading it.
Right? I actually agree, because it makes it seem very, a
little bit sordid, like less funny than it is, because the book is actually pretty funny.
And it it really pushes that classic oh, he's a devil and she's gonna tame him and turn him good, and it is a big feature in this novel, but I don't really feel like it's a draw to the novel or really how much.
That's not the major point. The major point is first of all, how much can a man really hate himself? And second of all, how much can a woman really, I don't even know. She's
a really talented, well-accomplished human being, and it's kind of like
I find
himself.
Very little fault with her.
It's interesting.
Which is nice. I think it's better to have like in a romance novel, at least, I don't like disliking the heroine, because I know, as you're reading, you're supposed to relate to her more. But personality-wise, honestly, sometimes I related to Chase more than I did Alex.
100% agree, because she was way too talented.
She's way too accomplished, well-adjusted. Panic attacks about water.
Fuck.
Yeah. Aside from that, she was great.
Yeah. So I personally didn't agree with that synopsis either. But hey, man. Hey, dag.
If it gets you to read it, why not? It just didn't get me to read it.
Yeah. But that is like a good, I'd say, like opener as to what the book is about.
Yeah,
you know
it was
what
like
I mean?
titillating, if you like the word titillating.
I mean, does anyone
people
like the
don't.
word titillating? I think it was very romance novel-y. I think it would fit for, it makes sense why they wrote it.
It was romance novel-y. It is a romance novel.
I mean, that's my point, though. Like, they're writing for a genre.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. They know who their target audience is. And sometimes it's not me.
Super accurate. So
Okay.
should we go into our,
I
analysis
want
and
to
breakdown?
know analysis and breakdown, that too. But I also kind of want to know how you felt about the heroine, other than the fact that she was perfect. Like, was she too perfect sometimes for you? Or...
I found her, to be really honest, sometimes a bit boring. And like, it's weird because I do think she's an interesting character and I enjoyed her, but especially when you have her like next to the children in the book, who are such interesting, like, complicated characters. They were probably my favorite part of this whole book. But she's kind of like, she's interesting and fun, and I enjoyed reading from her perspective. But sometimes I was a little bored. How about you?
I think I understand what you mean, because the kids themselves were such like lively forces that they kind of overshadowed the two main characters a little bit. Like, the kids are two orphans and they're just so ridiculous, and like the whole thing that they have with their doll and how the doll dies in a million different ways, and it's a new funeral every time. And like, I thought it was really interesting how like whether or not the doll is going to live or die speaks volumes about how the kids are feeling. I thought that was a really great writing device.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, but I think I was sometimes more interested in the doll than I was in like Chase.
Yeah. So I found their love story to kind of take like a backseat to how interesting their relationship was.
Yeah, like
with the
I think
children.
if the kids were less interesting,
yeah,
the love story would really shine. But like,
Yes.
Tessa Dare did a great job with those kids.
The kids are so
Yeah.
well written. I really enjoyed the kids a lot.
Which isn't something I would think you would say about many romance novels.
Right?
Like, usually the kids, like, are background characters and they're, like, there to get sick or draw the people closer. But, like, I don't think the kids were really that device in this. Like, the kids didn't bring them together.
No.
If anything, the kids did the opposite sometimes. But,
They were like their own full-fledged character in this, though. That's what's nice.
yeah, that's why the writing was so strong, too, for them.
Yeah, definitely. I actually feel like they added a lot too, though. Like, I do think the romance would shine more without them, but I also think that I might not have enjoyed it as much because I think how complicated they are, and the level of like complication that they bring to their relationship, I thought made it a lot more dynamic.
The kids are literally the whole reason why they are like forced to be together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, definitely.
So I guess like they do fulfill that function.
They
Maybe
do.
I'm dumb.
Yeah, because she is their governess. But
That
like,
is true.
It is
I did forget.
the Governess Game. So yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say about the title? Remember, oh my gosh, I thought this was so clever when you were talking about when you figured out what the name title means.
Yeah, the Governess Game is in reference to the game she creates with them as pirates. Like,
That's
pretending to be
right.
pirates. Yeah,
And
maybe.
it's
I don't know.
continuously referenced that pirate game does become like a really big thing because in the beginning they play it and then they get tied up later on in there and they follow, and it's just a continuous.
That pirate themed game actually is a huge part of that novel because that's the whole reason why they are forced to physically be together. And the whole reason why major things happen with like the kids running away and all of that, like, because she basically facilitates their plans to abandon them, like, inadvertently, which I thought was great. And I was like, oh, you really didn't see that coming?
Awkward.
It's because you don't have your teaching credentials. You're just some random person off the street.
I'm shocked she didn't see it coming, especially because she found the knapsack. Like she literally found it in there and was like, oh, hey, here, I don't want to ruin their trust, but
basically,
yeah. You would think she would at least check on it every once in a while when they're not there.
Yeah. She got complacent. She was like, these kids love me. They must not want to leave me. Lies.
So as far as story-wise and the writing, I think it was very well written and very well developed personally. But I did have like personal human problems with it. So that was my only, like, as far as story-wise, I think it was really well written. And I do think that she spends the right amount of time developing their relationship as to where it's believable that they could develop these real feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I honestly thought the sweetest moments between them were like the funeral moments where he's forced to eulogize a doll, and I was like, oh, they're holding hands. Like, because there is something a little bit exciting about getting to hold hands with someone when you have a crush on them and it's kind of a secret, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, he doesn't know I'm getting to hold his hand. Like, you know, it's a little bit stupid, but it's adorable.
It's sweet, and they comment on it like that, too.
Yeah, and she's like, it's like a secret, like, little enjoyable part of your day. I thought that was really sweet. I thought a lot of the things he did for her were really sweet. The things that she was able to provide for him emotionally, I thought, I don't know if I would call them sweet, but I would call them, I guess, maybe necessary, you know? Like, to be in a happy relationship, he would need that from somebody, and she was able to provide for his needs, you know? Whereas he just did kind things for her without kind of really thinking about it.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So he just kind of like automatically began to provide for her because he cared for her. Oh, I get it. Okay. I got lost in that for a second.
Yeah. I also thought it was really funny how when she first decides to take the position as the governess because she, you know, lost her clock machine.
Chronometer.
Oh, God. She lost her clock machine. And she decides to take the position as his governess. I thought it was really funny how the wage that he negotiated was significantly higher than the wage that she was asking for, but you had to like do math to figure it out.
Yes, I didn't. Yeah. You pointed that out to me, and I did not notice it until you mentioned it.
I sat there and I did the calculations, and I was like, if there's 12 weeks in summer, this is how much he's offering. Yeah.
And I can't remember if we decided if we thought that was on purpose or just like an accident, but I'd like to believe that it was on purpose by Tessa.
I totally think
Dare.
it was on purpose.
Yeah, I think that was a clear choice that she made to sort of have like her not paying attention and if you're offering more. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. What else was it about their relationship? Oh, how do you feel about like when they had their first kiss?
I absolutely love the counting the sugars.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love her weighing the options and then her deciding to kiss him.
Yeah, you really got to feel for her character in that moment. You're like, if I could clap right now, I would. Everything about it is like, yeah, you go, girl. You get what you want, you fucking bitch. Like, in the best way possible.
No. Only good type of bitches here. No.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're taking the term back. We're not. Yeah.
And if I hear somebody else saying it, I'm going to slit your fucking throat.
Exactly.
Anyway.
We're pretty violent on this podcast, so
please don't take my threats of violence seriously.
It's a way of expressing love.
Yes. Now that the cops have stopped listening. So basically, I thought it was really cute, and like you got a real sense for her character in that moment because you're like, oh, so she's practical in literally everything she does. Like she's weighing the pros and cons in everything. Yeah.
And that's what I meant too earlier by talking about how they really push how independent she is and how like because even when she accepts the job to be with him, one of the conditions is she needs the telescope so that she can have a career after she leaves this job.
Yeah, like so she can start a career because I don't think she planned on taking the telescope with her, but she wanted full use of it while she was there. Yeah.
But it's to get her money after she leaves. Yeah, right? Basically. For her little cottage.
Yeah. She has plans to live in retirement alone for the rest of her life. And the only reason why she makes out with him is because she's like, I don't want to have virgin lips when I'm like in a cottage.
You know what I thought was interesting? And this is not really necessarily a story element. I don't know if this was on purpose, but I'm a really big Jane Austen fan. And I thought it was really interesting. There was a couple like lines, like one-lines here and there. I think when Chase's brother comes over to visit and he's talking to Chase, and Chase is like, oh, well, you have the best girl around. It's very reminiscent of a line from Pride and Prejudice where what's his name is talking to Bingley. Darcy's talking to Bingley and saying, oh, you have...
What's his name? Sorry, no, continue.
My favorite book, and he's a what's his name. But hey, Darcy's talking to Bingley and he's like, oh, you have the best girl in the room, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately thought of that. And then our main character is also sort of reminiscent of Jane in that she's trying to make her way on her own. And in her real life, Jane Austen, you know what I mean, ended up alone and just made her money off of writing. But she always wrote happy endings for her characters. And so I found that sort of like an interesting nod. I don't know if it was on purpose, but maybe I just looked for her.
We can choose that it was on purpose.
I enjoyed it if
Tessa
it was.
Dare, if it wasn't on purpose, don't tell us. Thanks.
I just, I saw what I saw and I liked it. And that's all.
I thought that, what was it? So I don't normally like historical novels only because they just depress me a lot of the time. Like, having to see women in terrible situations with their lives threatened, like, I think that's part of the reason why I don't love Pride and Prejudice, because I'm like, if she doesn't marry this fucker,
yeah, she's
homeless.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrible. Those are not the right conditions to say yes under, is all I'm saying.
But she had already said no to other people, and she was already in danger of, like, losing everything.
And honestly, at that point, I'm like, then you're crazy. Like, I shouldn't say that word, but I'm like, your reasoning skills are off.
That's what her mom told her. So you're in agreement with, her mom, with Elizabeth's mom in Pride and Prejudice.
I mean, probably, but her mom's also a little bit...
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Having a moment. So, yeah, that's kind of like the reason why I don't like historicals, is because the threat is so high for women who don't conform. And, just as someone who doesn't conform in life in general, like, I hate it. Can't relate. Don't like it. I love being born at the time I'm living in now. But if I was born in the future, I might like it more. Anyway, whatever. So...
Who knows with the way things are going? You might not.
Yeah, but like in this historical novel, because Alex is so like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like she's written with like a modern mindset, which I really appreciate because it makes it a million times easier to read, like just emotionally for me. Otherwise,
the whole book feels very modern.
Yeah, and I like, even down to their nicknames, it's fine. I don't care. It makes it easier and lighter and more joyful for me to read, which I really appreciated. And I appreciated that she had so much agency herself, because she's the one who chose to go in for the first kiss. She's the one who said that she was going to teach him a lesson, which we found out what that lesson was. And spoiler alert, it's love. And she's the one who chose to like engage with him physically the first time. Like that was all her. Like he kind of just sat back and hoped that something might happen, maybe. But she's the one who consistently was the one to make the move, which made it refreshing in a way,
Yeah, and even before all of that, I actually wrote it in my notes. You guys are gonna hear page turning. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. No one's listening.
I mean... True. But when they do, so where is it? There was when she first meets him, and like she goes off on him. Not when she first meets him. It's actually their second meeting, and he quote unquote doesn't remember, right? And she goes off on him.
Yeah.
There's this like beautiful quote where she starts talking about how you should. I found it. I'm just gonna read it to you guys. She goes off on him, and she says, "Look at this place. Wine glasses scattered on the table, perfume still lingering in the air. What kind of gentleman conducts an employment interview in this cave of carnality?" That wasn't the quote I wanted, but that's great too. No, but she talks about, there we go. "When I opened the door, I was fool enough to expect someone else, a man who'd never allow a lady to wander London with only one stocking and call it nothing of consequence. Stockings are of consequence, Mr. Raynaud, and so are the women who wear them." I think that's probably my favorite quote of the whole book. And I think we talked about this and you weren't particularly a fan of her yelling at him about this. But it's not so much that I necessarily agree with why she's yelling, but the statement to me, I think, is such a nice, empowering one to consider that any part of a woman or any aspect of a woman that you're dealing with matters, whether you want to believe it or not.
And see, here's the thing. I love that when you read that, you comprehended that. I didn't. Flew right over my head. I was like, I guess socks are important. Whatever. And I just flipped the page. did not get that at all.
I don't know. To me, it made such a big impact. I was like,
I mean, yeah, now that you're explaining it, it's great. Sometimes I lack reading comprehension, and it's fine. We're all like that. It's fine.
Oh,
yeah, no, but she did constantly kind of say what was on her mind, you know, regardless of whatever the fuck was going on. Like, when it was between just the two of them, she didn't censor herself based on her station or anything, and that was so nice to read.
Yeah.
Especially because then it made it more believable that they were in love, and it was less of a, no, I can't, I'm just a governess.
A delicate flower.
Also, back in the day, governesses were women of high social standing with no money. So,
which makes perfect
even
sense
if she was just like a regular governess, like, it's kind of not that big of a deal. Like, governesses got married sometimes. I'm sure.
I mean, I love how you're like, I'm sure. Like, I assume.
I assume somebody married something. I don't know. Relationships were hard to ignore.
Yeah, no. I definitely enjoyed that she was a really strong female lead. That wasn't, especially for the time that she's in and the station that she's in, she could have been very weak.
And you know what else I enjoyed? Like, okay, so as far as Chase goes, I kind of thought he was just a little bit too dramatic with his guilt. I personally would not have that level of guilt if something similar like that happened to me. Sorry, no offense, love my cousins, but not that much. But, like, what I did love about Chase was the complete, like, absence of, like, violence or him lording power over her, which is unfortunately really common in historical romance novels, is like men who are like, I'm the man or I'm the duke and don't be a blah, and then they learn how to be a decent human being later, like. But that was surprisingly lacking in this book. Sometimes he does like smash things or break things, but at the same time I'm kind of like, we all break things, who cares? And he never does it to scare her, which is where domestic violence would come into play, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
So true.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. He wasn't like a typical leading man in this type of novel that you would normally see, where they can be aggressive and domineering and
alpha holes. That's
alpha holes.
I did not come up with that. That's just what they're called.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, he's not one of those.
Whoever came up with that, I love you.
I can give you a quarter. That's all I have.
I don't have it. I don't plan.
That's
to
why
give
we're
you.
at the library.
Yes, my love. That's what I'm giving you. Deep in, you came up with the term for romance novel men, so you get love.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, that's wonderful. Yeah, he's definitely not that type of character. I agree that he is too dramatic. I think, especially because, okay, so in the beginning of the novel, we don't know. All he says is that he doesn't want to pass on his seed, right? You know,
which. Terrible way to phrase that, by the way.
I mean, what am I gonna do? So
here are my heirlooms.
That's what men think of it as, though. Like,
oh, gross.
Spilling their seed.
Oh,
anyway, sorry.
Gross.
We're moving on.
So gross.
So he doesn't want to pass on his seed, but we don't know why. And then when we do, it's such a buildup. You don't find out until like the end of the book, right? It's like close. There's like a few chapters.
You kind of find out in the conversation that he has with Alex, no? On the couch?
No, we don't find out until Ash, for sure. Like, why? We just know, like, because I know early on he has a conversation with his brother.
Yeah, and then the conversation with Alex on the couch happens after Ash.
Oh, is that what that? Yes, you're right. It is the conversation on the couch. But Ash is still there when he confesses.
Yeah. They're all on a couch.
Yes. Correct.
And
I forgot the setting.
Yeah. I still don't know where that couch was, but we'll talk about that later.
So accurate. So and then he confesses that, you know, he was off with a woman when his cousin. What was he? He was like starting a fight in like a club, right? Wasn't it?
So the cousin that he's talking about is actually the cousin who's supposed to inherit the dukedom, right? So, and that cousin was third in line anyway, and he went off to like get sexual with a woman in a brothel, and while he was having sex, or maybe not a brothel, maybe just an inn, I don't know.
Oh no, Chase went off to
Chase
I thought you were talking about his cousin.
No, his cousin's like a church virgin who drinks too much and like start fights. So Chase has like a night with a woman while his cousin is out gambling, starting fights. I don't even know what he's doing in the middle of a club.
What did he do? Yeah, he started a fight in the middle of a club, right?
And then when he wakes up in the morning, he finds out his cousin died because he got into a fight. So he's carrying like this guilt with him forever, basically. And again, I don't understand. Sorry. Your cousin's 20 years old. He's an adult. In olden times, he would be like middle-aged, basically.
That's so true, too. Right? Yeah.
At 13, these people like know how taxes work, I'm assuming. I don't know.
I mean, we would hope.
I still don't know how taxes work. It's fine.
Do I.
I'm too
That's old. On purpose, you know. The government's suppressing our lives. No, I'm just kidding.
You can find this information on irs.gov. I've been looking.
You can find the information, but they could also just like do it for us because they have all our info. So like, why are they making us do extra work? Because they hate us.
Oh my God. They do have our information.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the government do our taxes?
So that they can get more money. You didn't know this? Okay, sidebar politics information 101, guys.
Oh my God. Okay, no, cite your sources. Where did you hear this?
I actually have heard it on multiple sources. I heard it on Adam Ruins Everything, which is a great television show. I recommend you guys go to that one because if you go to their website, they actually list all their sources there. So check that out. I also heard it on NPR and a couple other...
this is wild. My mind is blown.
Yeah, so the government has all your information, and actually a lot of other countries already do their taxes for their citizens. The government doesn't do it because reason they say...
You have 20 seconds to finish the rest of this.
All right, you're right. The bottom line is they get more money because we don't know what we're doing, essentially.
Oh, okay. But then if I lie to the government, then I have the opportunity to lie on my taxes.
Did you know it's actually not that common for people to lie on their taxes?
That's really crazy.
Yeah. Look it up.
It's also not that common for people to steal mail.
What?
Yeah, because the protection, like the...
It's a federally protected...
Yeah. The consequences are so high that most people don't.
Random. Yeah. All right, welcome to our politics podcast, guys.
We have ADHD, the both of us. It's a problem. You're going to run into this multiple times. Luckily, we have no listeners right now, so there's no one to disappoint.
Either way, learn how to do your taxes. Anyway, 13 years old, you do your taxes. Hopefully they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
This guy's 20.
Yeah, you should be training to be a duke. He's like, what was it? He was interested in being a clergy member. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. You know how to run the business of the church, probably.
And if you're going to be a clergyman, bitch, why are you starting a fight?
Yeah.
Like, why are you in a bar starting a fight?
I didn't fully understand the cousin's motivations, but luckily he was dead, so we didn't have to, listen to him.
It's so true, so true. Yeah. Anyway, so I personally, and the build-up and the drama for when we finally find out, and it's so close to the end of the book that we find out, I actually spent a good majority of my time with Chase feeling like, okay, why are you being dramatic? This is I was just like,
I
what?
have so many of his quotes highlighted, and all of my notes say, relax, it's not that deep, fucking shut up. I have zero patience for self-hatred. I get really tired when I read it. I get tired when I experience it. I get tired when I see it happen to other people, and I get tired when I read about it.
So we're here now.
Yeah. Anytime someone's like, I'm not worth it, my immediate reaction is to be like, you're right, you're not, goodbye. I can't handle it. Zero patience. It made sense for the character, but I personally, I can't. It's one of my major pet peeves. Self-hatred, constant self-hatred.
I agree. I do think that it serves our conflict really well, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I was thinking about a couple other books that we're looking into, and how common it is to just have, especially in a romance novel, to just have false conflict, where it's just if they talked, it would be resolved. Yeah. And this is definitely not a case of that.
It's not a case of false conflict at all, because they are actually talking about it constantly and resolving nothing. Yeah.
Because they're literally just fundamentally opposed.
Yeah, and I actually really appreciated how often they would talk about it, too, because it wasn't like they were ignoring it and they were going to be slapped in the face by surprise when they figured out their lives were not meant to fit each other or whatever the fuck. But, I appreciated that, they weren't afraid to confront the issue, especially when it came to Alex. Alex was 100% ready to be like, hey, this is how things are. And you know what? I'm fine with you putting it in. But, you need to be okay with the situation, too.
Yeah.
Which he was not okay with that situation at all.
That scene. That's after she finds out about Ash.
Yeah.
And he's all like, you accepted me even though I tried to kill my cousin. And she's like, I accept you, but I don't want to fuck you.
Yeah, basically.
There's more to it. There's more. You can go
shorthand.
Into it.
We can do that.
That was
She's like, I accept you, but I don't want you to put it in because I know you don't want to put it in.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I don't know. I thought it was a sweet moment.
Yeah, and how he has so he keeps calling himself a playboy who ruins women, who blah 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 blah. And then we find out he's like the most considerate of playboys in the Victorian era, and I was like, wait, is this the Victorian era?
It's 1817.
Again.
I don't know. What am I I'm going to Google it while we're on. You keep talking and I'll Google
anyway,
when the
whatever.
Victorian
I thought
era
he was like the most considerate playboy that you could find in 1817 years, because like you find out that this whole time that he's been talking about ruining women, quote unquote.
This is before the Victorian era.
What is this? The Romantics? The satire? What is this?
I don't know. I looked up when was the Romantic era, so you're gonna have to.
Oh, great, whatever. 1817 years. The whole time he's talking about like ruining women or whatever, in actuality he's preserving like the most important thing that their parents or like rich family members would care about, aka their penis and vagina virginity.
Exactly.
Like he makes sure to be very quiet or like very secretive about when he invites a woman over, so their name isn't trashed. Like, as much as she made the quote about women without stockings are of consequence or whatever, he knows that. Yeah. He's just lost some girl's socks, and that's fine. Like,
that is true.
Yeah.
From that, with her not knowing anything, the quote makes sense, but when you know about him,
yeah, it does, and you find out, like, he actually has a very kind heart underneath all of that. Like, we find out that he,
Although, okay, here's the thing. The one thing I will say to take it a little bit away from Chase, I'm so sorry.
No, I hurt his feelings. Go for it.
So, here's the thing. What I will say is, as much as, he's not, like, having sex with them, it's not necessarily out of respect for them.
Oh, yeah, no. It's for complete fear.
Yeah, so he doesn't have bastards everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably an attachment. There's probably some part of him that cares about the woman too, but I think it's way more on the side of him not wanting to be his father with all of his father's bastard children everywhere.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, in terms of, like, why am I repeating myself? Anyway, I was going to say that in terms of when it comes to his, like, kindness, his secret kindness, whatever, it's really evident in how he treats his father's bastard children, illegitimate children, whatever. We find out that he's actually paying for their full pensions, and he doesn't, like, name them as being illegitimate children. He just calls them, oh, my servants, but they're not servants. They're, like, the children of servants that his father probably forced himself on. Like, he's really trying to right the wrongs of his family history. And I thought that was very sweet when we found that out.
Which I totally missed the first time I read it. You had to tell me. I, fell asleep in the second half of the book, I guess.
It is, like, a very quick throwaway line, though. Like, there's one line about it, and you're like, oh, wait, what? Yeah. I did. And I remember reading the line, too, because it's between him and his brother. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, like, okay, I don't know what that means. And then just moving on. Like, I don't... Yeah. And, like, Chase is full of, like, really sweet things that he does, but he kind of does them without thinking. That's what I was trying to get at earlier, is, like... And his brother says that, too, about him, where he's, like, he cares for people, and he knows how to care for people. He just doesn't know how to be cared for himself. Yeah. Which I thought was very obvious. What did you think about her, like... I guess the whole love confession and what led up to it, like with the comet.
I absolutely love that whole lead up. I think it makes perfect sense for me. I really like the reason that they end up, like, actually her saying she loves him is after she's made this intense discovery, and he's pushing for her to keep it for herself, and,
which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, and I think it was a nice way for them to finally actually, book.
Do you want to spell that? Is it F-U-K, but the U has an umlaut?
I would think it's like a PH, before going,
Fook. Like P-H-U-Q?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. Okay.
So you like that part, though?
I like that part. I do. Yeah. What about you? What did you think?
I liked it. I was confused by how often they have sex in public, or, like, get physical in public. Or get physical just wherever anybody can walk in on them. They have zero self-preservation.
Almost cunnilingus in a library.
Yeah, okay, well.
And then...
he licked it in a library.
Licked it in a library!
Yeah.
What alliteration, Tat.
Yeah.
You're definitely a writer.
Thanks. Yeah, the only time that we witnessed them getting physical in private where someone won't walk in on them was the first time
In the cave of carnality.
Yeah, in the cave of carnality. And then every other time it's been like, oh, we're in the library, or oh, we're just on a couch in the middle of the formal living room where we receive guests.
Or we're in the Tower of London in a random room. Like, I don't...
Where people could walk in at any time.
Yeah, we have sex in a field.
Wild
Okay,
abandonment
so,
right there.
That's another thing, though. In the field, does she have her skirt spread out so she doesn't have stuff going in her butt?
I'll be honest, I was not paying attention.
Those were logistical questions are where I'm at with all the sex.
Okay, so we're going to start a corner on this podcast called Logistical Questions with Sam. Did you have any other ones?
Oh, so my other questions were in the library when he's like, going down on her. Mm-hmm. I was like, what, is she just pushed against the broken bookcase? Doesn't that hurt? And it was...
Are the books surrounding them?
That's all
Did they clean up?
Yes, logistical question. Is she standing on books when this happens?
Speaking of books, I thought it was funny how he brought up the dirty adult books behind the other books, and we never heard about them again.
Oh my God, I forgot about that
completely. I was looking forward to her opening up a book and being like, what is that? And then that's a part of their lessons. I would have been like, yes, I'm here for it. But we never got that.
That would have been great.
Yeah, right?
I missed opportunity. I actually forgot that line existed in the book. It was kind of like a throwaway.
You know why I remember it? Because I remember hearing like, oh, I hid the books behind other books. And I was like, those kids are going to find those books. Like, you swear they're not going to take a look.
Like, what's this behind this book? Oh, look.
You just pick up a book and you're like, pirate encyclopedia. What's this dick?
Yeah, no, I didn't think about it. Yeah, so those were my logistical problems with that meeting. Tower of London, again, like, what room? Why are there not people in it? How did this happen?
How long did he hold her up against the wall with his hips?
And that's another thing.
Hips?
As someone who's had sex or someone was holding me up, it's not gonna last that long. I'm gonna be real. I don't know many men on this earth.
What's your mom's name?
Karen or Casey.
Casey, do you hear your daughter speaking this way?
I'm just saying, like, don't comment, Mom. I don't want to know about your experiences. Anyway.
She leaves a 5-star review. I learned so much about my daughter.
She is listening.
Man, I'm so glad my mom doesn't know how technology works.
Support everything. And I warned her. I said, Mom, we're going to talk about sex. And she's like, that's fine. I don't mind.
Has your mom heard your impression of her?
She does not like it. She's going to hear it again.
She doesn't even sound like that.
She doesn't, no. She's just sweet. I think that's what a sweet white lady sounds like. And that's my impression of her. So there you go. But yeah.
Yeah, the logistical problems were plenty. Okay, question.
Mm-hmm.
How? Okay, so we know he's been fingering her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Faux show.
Has he been sticking to one finger this whole time? 2 fingers?
That's true. Men's don't get an upgrade.
Men's fingers are wide, okay?
That's super true.
Like, men's fingers are wide. Hefty, thick fingers.
Usually they at least upgrade to 2.
Right?
Yeah.
So why was it so painful?
Okay, but it's still painful.
I think he should have upgraded to 3. He should have foreseen this, and I think it would have cut down on a lot of pain.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It hurts. Like, I'm gonna say we're gonna talk about my virginity now.
Oh my God.
It's not a secret.
Don't have to.
Here's the thing.
It's not
my mom knows
to me, but
the
our
story.
One listener. Oh, okay. Your mother knows.
I know because I told my sister, and then my sister told my mom. So we're here now.
But what if your mom forgot in the?
She's gonna learn it again. So right. I'm not bashful.
Buckle up, Casey. It's happening.
So for mine, I don't know if this is the case in her scenario, but in my scenario, he rammed it in.
Oh no.
Just no prep.
I hate hearing this.
Just really fast, just bam, and then blood. And so yes, it was very painful. And I gotta tell you, he had them thick fingers. We had done many fingers, and it still did not matter. So I think it's probably more with how he put it in than necessarily
like, you
how
think
many
the
fingers.
grass played.
I definitely, because he couldn't have a grip on his feet really well when he's ramming it in, how big he is.
Where were all the grass stains on their clothing?
So true. On
Logistical
her ass.
questions.
See, these are Sam's logistical questions.
But you know what? That's what makes it a romance novel. It's a fantasy, so you're like, oh my god, it just hit. Is that what the thing is? Is that what the main fantasy of this is? Possibly getting caught in semi-public areas?
That makes so much sense because it's the governess game and she doesn't want to get caught because she's the governess. But they're in public places.
Here's the thing, like, it didn't even occur to me. Maybe it's like a soft way of introducing like an exhibition kink.
You also don't have to whisper.
I do. There's a woman right outside this door and these walls are non-soundproof. Hello.
We're here now. Oh, that makes a lot of sense actually because you're right. There is literally only one time when it's not outdoors. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I think you're right. I'm going to take it as that.
Question. What did you think of the side characters?
I did not care about them except for the children. Is that terrible?
I mean, it's not terrible.
Oh, you know what? I did like the vegetarian.
Penelope?
Yeah,
I forgot her name already.
I know.
I think it's Penelope Campion, Lady Penelope Campion.
And she's the next one, right?
She's
in the
book
series.
3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was intrigued by her, but otherwise I didn't really care. Not a little bit. Nothing.
You didn't like the secret half-brother lawyer, John?
Oh, you're right. I did like him. I guess I just didn't care about him. Is that terrible? I
was a little bit bummed that he was already married because I thought he was a lot funnier and like his dry humor was
he was
funnier than
like,
Chase's. Yeah. So I was a little bit bummed that he was married because I was like, I want to know how they got together, you know?
I mean, maybe there'll be a book for that one.
I mean,
that'd be bummed.
Fingers crossed.
Come on, Tessa. We want it.
Tessa, where's my book about John Barrow and his wife? What's her name? Eloise?
Yeah, I think so.
Alicia? No.
You know what? Let's just not guess anymore because we're just gonna offend poor Miss Dare, and I really don't want to. So.
Yeah. It's not personal. We just have terrible memories.
So accurate.
Yeah.
Anyway, for me, I'd say they were all just kind of forgettable to me. I found the children to be the most exciting part of this book for me.
The kids were great.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that we didn't hear from a servant at all.
Except for that one lady, Miss Greenlee.
Yeah, but even she was like, I'm here, and then I'm not here.
That's really
true.
But
then I'm here. You want cookies? I don't have cookies. Make your own.
But I think they didn't want to take away from,
I thought that, I thought her friends were great. I thought they provided like a really interesting, I guess, like dichotomy of experiences because like Penelope's like super dreamy and like she's on the side of love. I would classify her as a Pisces through and through.
Oh, good
right?
One, good one. Yeah, I agree.
They love love and
Nicola
they love being
is
in love.
definitely an Aries. She's angry and aggressive and automatically trying to attack him.
I'm gonna go on a limb.
I'm waiting for the limb.
And say she might be a Sagittarius or an Aquarius.
Ooh.
Because of her independent spirit and her unwillingness to be tied down.
Ooh, that's so true. Mm-hmm. So true. I could accept that. Yeah. I'd say more an Aquarius than a Sagittarius.
Because Sagittariuses, no offense, Sagittariuses, but they're a little bit, like, weird.
But yeah, like, well, we like them, but, like, they're a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And Aquarius is also more aggressive. So
yeah. I did love how every time she heard something even slightly questionable, even if it was sweet about Chase, she was like, lock your door. He's not worth it. He's your boss. He's harassing you.
You know what? I'm actually going to go out on a limb now and say she's a Cancer because when I was reading it, you'll hear my reasoning why.
Okay.
It's just because of you. That's the only, because when I was reading it, all I could picture was every time I dated a guy and you were like, don't do this, run away, lock all your doors, leave him in the alley. Like, I don't know.
You should always lock your doors and never be afraid to leave someone in an alley. Like,
none of those were real instances. In case anyone was wondering, my life is not that tragic, I promise. Ish. You'll hear. I'm not shy. So but I think that side of you is way more of your Aries. What is it? Your rising that's Aries, or your Mars is in Aries?
I'm a Leo rising. My Mars is in Aries, and my moon is in Leo. I'm a bunch of fire signs.
Yeah, you're all fire. You're all the fire in your life. Anyway, so that
astrology corner over.
Okay, I want to move to the end, and I want to know how you felt about how it ended.
What part of the end? Oh, the end. Okay, yes, go for it.
I asked you the question.
Oh, how
Kat.
I felt.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're talking about after they have sex, after she professes her love for him, she literally says, "I love you." They get back home. They see the kids are missing. And after the kids are found, it was a really short stint. Like, kids are independent. They're great. It only made me love them more, I'll be honest. I was like, you fucking run away. You smart kid. You fucking smart ass kid. Go for it. I mean, like, they would have died.
Yeah,
go
super
for it.
accurate. But
So after the kids get back, Chase basically does his absolute best to be a fucking dick and push her away.
so accurate.
Yeah, he pushes Alex away and he says, literally, I have to hurt her. It's the only way. And my note to that, it says, you really don't, though. Like, you don't. You can just break up with her, but I get it. It's a romance novel. We need the drama. Okay. And she actually makes a really nice speech about, like, how I know you love me, but if you're going to behave this way or say this, I can't guarantee that I'll take you back in a week.
Don't say it like that. Don't pretend like she says, I can't guarantee.
No, she says, for sure, I will not take you back when you come crawling back weeks later or months later. That's what she says.
Very certain. Continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
She says, I will not take you back. And then he's like, then fine, don't. And then immediately after she walks out the door, he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. Like,
literally immediately.
Yeah. And I guess the problem that I had with it might be different than the problem that you had with it, but I didn't like how he went out of his way to hurt her. I don't think that's a good sign in a relationship, ever.
Yeah.
If someone is purposely doing something to cause you pain, run away. Because that's not someone you want to be with, ever. Even if he's, like, really nice and treats the orphan kids like they're his own. No.
Yeah.
Hard limits with Tat. Bye. No, I could not stand that. I really did not like that part, and it almost made me not like him. And I honestly liked him more than I liked her sometimes.
You did.
Yeah.
We discussed this. You were into him.
I thought he was just a lot more of a mess than she was, and I related to that. Yeah. So when he was like, I have to push her away, I have to hurt her, I was like, no, you don't. You really don't. You can have a conversation. You can be an adult. Therapy is necessary.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So we were talking with your sister about this, and I really agree with this point. There's a whole chapter where they go to the Egyptian room and they find out about, the guy who's been her boss, who's been pinching her butt, and there's this whole fight. And I really think we could have done without that whole scene, and then we could have spent a little bit more time with Chase figuring out he was dumb and, like, spending a little bit more development with that. And then it would also make sense that Alex changes her mind after that very emphatic no.
Yeah.
So I think if we spent more time on that, it would make a lot more sense. Because personally, whenever you give your character a line that's very clearly, if you do this now, I won't take you back. It's such a pet peeve of mine. And I know it happens a lot in literature.
It happens in real life too.
It does happen in real life, but you know what? As Lonnie Diane Rich would say, reality is no excuse for fiction.
I don't know.
She's a writer. It's there. Okay. You'll find out. We're going to read one of her books. So anyway, no, but I don't always agree with that statement. But in this situation, I personally think it's really frustrating to read a character that's especially such a strong character, just emphatically say no. And then very quickly, it's only 3 weeks after that she takes him back.
Yeah.
And for me, that was not enough time for her to have decided she wants him back. He decided way too quickly he made a mistake. It was just like we were rushing through the end. So
maybe you would like a really angsty book more. I personally don't like when those moments are drawn out. Only because I'm like, oh, great, more stress. I'm fucking tired. Like, I'm always tired. I don't need to be tired now either. Yeah, so I don't like when they're drawn out like that. But I understand what you're saying about, like, how for you needed more time for such a strong character to be able to change her mind.
Exactly.
We saw him change his mind, like, immediately. But for her, she was just like, I've made up my mind, I'm going to go on my way. And she didn't really have time to develop that change of heart the way that he did. Like, his was immediate.
Exactly.
Hers didn't really happen until the grand gesture at the end, right?
Yeah, and she doesn't even really give a reason for why she's taking him back in that grand gesture.
Yeah, and I'm like, he doesn't deserve you, honey. But
yeah,
and I get it. You want him.
And for me, it was like if there was more time and there was more of a situation where we could actually justify those emotions, I would have enjoyed it a little bit better. That's my only complaint, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my only complaint is I don't understand how much he hates himself.
Oh, I do have one other complaint about the book.
Oh no, what is it?
It's not
Is
really
it
a
gonna make me
complaint.
cry?
No. Why would it make you cry?
I don't cry. I'm just trying to be personable for our 0 listeners. They need to know I have emotions.
Yeah, I mean the full range. No, you know what? I found her transitions a little confusing from each POV. Because they didn't happen at a consistent point. Which is fine. They don't have to. But there was no even change in the font or change in spacing or really change in language.
Oh, like the electronic copy that you had?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even beyond that, like, okay, there was a couple of times where she would start whoever's POV it would be in, like, Alex, blah, 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 or Chase, but that wasn't consistent. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it'd be, like, halfway through a chapter and we'd be in the middle of an action and she'd switch the POV and I would get very, very confused.
And here's the thing, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And I did feel like that sometimes, too. Like, I know there were a couple instances where I was reading thinking it was Alex, not for long, but for a short amount of time, like a paragraph, and then I was like, wait, this is a man? Like, I was like, what's going on?
Exactly.
But now
it's also
here's
harder.
The thing.
Yeah.
In the book that I'm writing, I'm pretty sure I'm guilty of this too. It's terrible. It's really hard because you don't want to start every like shift with like the person's name.
Yeah.
Because then it's repetitive, but you also like need to make it immediately obvious
that it's a change.
Point of view we're going from. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and that's why I'm not doing it in my books. So
yeah, you've only got one point of view.
I do only have one point of view. Yeah, it's too much work for me. But I will say my other characters are a bit underserved because of it, so I have to flesh them out a bit.
Yeah, it's really hard.
But
man, writing is hard.
It is, man. I don't know why we do it. I don't know why. We're here.
If you guys heard that, something's happening outside. We'll try and cut it out. But if we don't, good luck.
But yeah, so those are my complaints about the book. Otherwise, I thought it was really well put together.
Yeah.
It's a long book, but it didn't feel long.
Yeah, I read through it really quickly, and I know you did too.
Yeah. So it was nice. I didn't feel like I was forcing myself to finish it either. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked the language that she used, making it modern. We didn't talk about your favorite joke in the book, your meta joke.
Why do you hold this against me? It's a meme these days. I can't help it that I'm a child of the internet.
Look, I'm not
like
mad
almost
at you.
30, but I'm a child of the internet.
We're here now.
Draw me like one of your French girls. Like, I can't get over it. I'm so glad that joke was made. It was necessary because literally right before he made the joke, that's what I was thinking. And I was like, hell yeah. He's laying down like Rose.
I will say, as someone who has put several jokes in her books purely for myself, I understand why it's there. Because it is the first thought you have when you see it. And it does make sense. Like, I get it. Maybe I'm just dumb. Because when I read it, my first thought was, when is this set? Like, that was...
You were like, is this happening in 1997?
Yeah. And, like, because the language was so modern, like, it literally threw me for a loop for a minute.
I understand. I get it, yeah.
I did get a little confused. So I might just be dumb, but I understand why you find it funny.
I love meta humor. Yeah, no, that was great for me. I love that part. I highlighted it.
Of course
and then I left a note that said, we were all thinking it. And I was.
So. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I thought it for sure. And then read it and was like, wait, what the fuck? Are there any closing thoughts you want to have about the book? I feel like we've talked about a lot.
This is probably not the best closing thought to have at the end of a book, or maybe it is the best. But I'm like really curious to read the next book in the series.
Me too. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because like the vegetarian animal lover made more of an impression on me with all of her goats and like her 0-legged dog or whatever.
Yeah.
2-legged dog. My bad.
I mean, I knew it wasn't a 0-legged dog.
It's just a sausage. Yeah, so I don't know if it's because she made like a great impression on me, even as a side character, but I'm really excited to read the next one in the series.
Yeah, me too, actually. And I actually want to, since, I have a bad friend who makes me read books out of order, we're going to go back and probably read the first one.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we didn't read the first one.
So awkwardly enough, we're gonna go back and try. We're not gonna make it a habit to read series on here, though. I think.
Not the full series.
Yeah, like maybe.
Actually, I do have a series that I can recommend of historical romance novels.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off mic.
Yeah, when we're not recording, so you don't have to edit it out later.
You swear like I'm editing anything beyond coughs.
Anyway, yeah, so this, I think, concludes our first episode.
Maybe it's our second. We don't
You
know
know
what
what?
order we're going to put these
This
up
concludes an episode.
in. This concludes episode.
Oof.
This
I like
concludes.
It. Concluded. Yeah. Oh, we do have an email now for, if you guys want to email us.
I made one too.
Oh, we have 2 emails.
We have 2 emails, but we should only give one because we're not going to check both. We're lazy.
True.
We might not even check one.
Okay, which one you want to give? Mine or yours? Kai
Mine.
Bibo? Okay, yours.
I'm not Kai Biboing shit. It's literally the same as yours, but it ends at gmail.com.
So it's plotThrust@gmail.com.
Yeah,
guys.
so if you guys have anything that you want to send us, hate mail, love mail, suggestions, please funnel that through that email, and we'll read it when we're avoiding our actual job.
And
if my boss heard me say that, that's a lie. You know I'm not going to be doing that at work.
and definitely let us know if this kind of content would be something you'd want to donate to a Patreon for. We don't have one yet, but
maybe
we are
one
gonna set one up at some point. So the more people who let us know, the more the sooner we'll set it up.
Yeah, basically we're just trying to gauge interest.
Yeah, so just let us know.
Right now we have 0 listeners, but 1 out of 0 must be interested.
I mean, right now we have a very captive library, so.
Yeah, the people next door have been hearing every word.
All right, you guys, we're out. Bye.
We need an outro.
We do need an outro.